Good evening and welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Nadun Sirivardhana. Let's have a look at the headlines first. Sri Lanka secures $200 million from the World Bank. Sri Lanka completes consultations with the OCC and the IMF. News in detail. Sri Lanka has secured $200 million from the World Bank's International Development Association for Phase 2 of the Resilience, Stability and Economic Turnaround Programme. The funding aims to support ongoing economic reforms focused on achieving stability, growth and safeguarding the country's vulnerable communities. The agreement was signed by Finance Secretary K.M. Sirivardhana and the World Bank's Country Director David Sislan. In other developments, President Anurukumara Dissanayake met with the Asian Development Bank Country Director Takafumi Kodono, who reaffirmed the ADB's commitment to supporting Sri Lanka's economic recovery. The key areas of focus included boosting the tourism sector, expanding energy initiatives, and offering support to small-scale entrepreneurs. Special attention will be given to developing tourism in the northern region of the country. The Sri Lankan government has announced a successful completion of consultations with the Official Creditor Committee and the International Monetary Fund. This marks a critical step in the nation's debt restructuring process following the agreement in principle reached on the 19th of September 2024. According to a statement from the Treasury, the terms of the AIP have been confirmed as compliant with the IMF's comparability of treatment principle. This agreement aligns with the parameters set under the IMF's Extended Fund Facility Program, which also factors in the restructuring terms previously reached with the OCC and the China Exim Bank in June. In light of the recent presidential elections and the new government taking office, Sri Lankan authorities have reiterated their commitment to meeting the debt targets and fast-tracking the restructuring process. The government has expressed gratitude to all its creditors, the IMF and the OCC for their continued support throughout this journey towards economic recovery. Now, the government of Sri Lanka has officially appointed Citigroup Global Markets as a dealer manager for the upcoming sovereign bond exchange. The appointment follows a competitive bidding process, marking a significant step in the country's efforts to restructure its international sovereign bonds. The announcement comes after the government reached agreements in principle on the restructuring terms with both foreign and domestic holders of sovereign bonds, as stated on the 19th of September. The bond exchange is designed to offer new securities to replace the existing ones. The Treasury noted that Citi will now be responsible for handling key aspects of the bond exchange, including consent solicitation, legal documentation, and the overall management of the exchange process. Legal counsel for Citi will be provided by Hogan Lovells, a global law firm. The Finance Ministry said the decision was made after evaluating proposals from 5 shortlisted entities, with Citi being selected for its expertise and strong performance in technical and financial assessments. Stay tuned, we will return after this commercial break. Welcome back. The Ministry of Finance has announced that Sri Lanka's agreement in principle on the macro-linked bonds with the international bondholders could result in a debt reduction of between $2 billion to $4.6 billion. It said that this depended on the country's future economic performance. The Finance Ministry revealed that Sri Lanka is set to benefit from an upfront debt stock reduction of around $3.2 billion with the potential for further relief up to $4.6 billion in the event of an economic downturn. However, should Sri Lanka's economic performance exceed expectations, this reduction could scale down to $2 billion. Additionally, over the period of the IMF-supported program, the country's debt service payments are expected to be slashed by around $9.5 billion. The maturity of bonds will be extended by over 5 years, while interest rates are set to decrease from 6.4% to an average of 4.4%. Under these agreements, bondholders will be agreeing to a 40.3% present value concession in the baseline scenario, offering significant relief to Sri Lanka as it moves towards achieving foreign debt sustainability. These agreements are also crucial for unlocking further IMF disbursements and support from other development partners in the coming years. Hambantota International Port has reported a significant milestone, marking a 40% increase in the vehicle handling between the second and third quarters of 2024. The port handled over 175,000 units by the end of September, compared to 125,000 in the previous quarter. This impressive growth is attributed to new shipping lines choosing HIP for transshipment, with ports such as Shanghai, Baltimore and Pyeongtaek joining the delivery network. The increase also prompted HIP to expand its yard space, preparing for the rise in vehicle volumes, including high-end and heavy-duty vehicles. According to Lance Wu, General Manager of HIPG, the majority of these vehicles are transshipped worldwide, with increased confidence from RORO shipping lines bolstering the port's operations. CEO of HIPG, Wilson Q, emphasized the port's commitment to service excellence and zero accident tolerance. He highlighted that HIP's prime location, expanded infrastructure, and highly trained operational staff positions the port as a key player in global maritime trade. The American Chamber of Commerce in Sri Lanka held its 32nd annual general meeting, marking another year of growth for the US-Sri Lanka business community. At the AGM, newly elected President Shirendra Lawrence outlined the Chamber's continued commitment to fostering bilateral trade and investment between Sri Lanka and the United States of America. Lawrence highlighted that building relationships with key US federal agencies and supporting economic recovery through foreign direct investment would be top priorities for the coming year. The AGM also saw the election of a new board of directors, which includes Vice President Sandun Hapugoda from MasterCard and Secretary Harsha Randeni from Microsoft Sri Lanka, among other industry leaders. In a keynote address, US Ambassador Julie J. Chang reaffirmed the United States' commitment to working closely with the new administration to strengthen economic ties and promote transparency in foreign investments. A notable highlight from the past year was a mentorship program that connected university students with C-suite executives from leading companies. Stay tuned for the stock update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on positive notes today. The All Share Price Index gained by 111.15 points to close at 12,164.64, and the S&P SL20 gained by 47.58 points to close at 3,590.80. The turnover was 2.7 billion rupees and over 169 million shares were traded. Up next are Forex rates. That's all our news for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Take care and good night.